Yo, we should just have a dance party right now.
Oh wait, we need the motion lines. Oh shit.
This is it.
Today, what we're talking about is relationship advice. So, what we would like to do is, if you are in a relationship and need some help, like many of us do, ask us. We would love to give you terrible advice regarding that situation, and
terrible.
just talk it out, you know.
We'll probably have some golden moments, but not so much gold. But this is the song that we were talking about. If you're into EDM, if you're into house, deep house, stuff of that nature, shout out to Session for taking the Don't Hold Me Back track on Kona's album. Made this in an RV with my friends. You can check that out on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you want to stream your music from.
The best way to make an online relationship work with someone if you haven't met in person. I do have some advice.
What they're looking for is like, how do I make this work? How do I keep a connection with someone that I don't live in the same town with? We can't really go out to dinner. We can't have friend groups together. How do you keep that together?
I definitely think it's really hard. And trust me, I've never been in a situation like that. I think too much catfish probably got to me, but for the most part, I think one of the biggest things, I mean, in any relationship is trust. You gotta have that trust. If neither of you have trust in the fact that it's gonna work, then it's kind of be all for naught. You're already missing a lot of the key things and the elements that make a relationship a lot easier to balance with, you know, being there, the physicality and stuff. So honestly, you know, the trust has got to be there. I think also, you know, ingenuity of keeping things spicy. You know what I mean? And when I say that, I mean like coming up with some new ideas. Like if you're gonna be FaceTiming each other, calling each other, whatever, come up with some really interesting things to keep talking about or keep doing. You know, try to make things new. I don't, you know, maybe send her some stuff or whatever, and plan some stuff out like that. But
I always go last on these type of things because I'm sort of like the Simon of the American Idol panel here. And let me just tell you what you need to hear, okay? Just decide whether you want to live near each other or don't do it at all.
Yeah, I kind of agree in a sense. Like I think long distance relationships like that are really it's gotta be hard as fuck.
It's hard and it's just not fair to anyone. It's not fair to anyone at all.
It is hard, but if you guys see each other in person, it does help a little bit. If you've never met this person ever, buddy, there's more fish in the sea out there, or girl.
There's 1,000 people out there, so, whatever gender type thing you're into.
Just like candy bars, you got Snickers, you got a Reese's, you got Twix, you got try them out. Don't go for the one that's miles away.
Yeah.
I just think you should, if there's anything you should really take away from this, I think, is just notice red flags when you notice them. If you want to attempt to see and be with somebody that you've never met before or at least never seen physically, like I wouldn't necessarily say not to try it, but just notice red flags when you do. Because I think that's the worst part is somebody that tries to do something of that nature but then just falls so deeply into it that they can't find themselves back out.
Our number one fan, our number one man,
Joe!
He's back in this bitch!
What's up,
Hell yeah, my dog!
My man.
How you doing, Joe?
I hope you're doing good. Shout out to Joe Hurdle. All day, bro.
You got any relationship problems, Joe?
Joe, man, I bet Joe has mad.
He's got that.
I bet Joe has mad bitches, and he's just mad chilling. I bet he's just chilling in a huge, heart-shaped bed with like 3 girls who are feeding him grapes right now. And that's what he does on Tuesday streams. I would never actually date somebody that I would never. I don't even think long distance relationships are very possible. I've seen people do it, but I could never not
Let's
be
hear a little more
next
from
to the
Austin.
person.
I mean, Austin is
the
guy that is in a long distance-ish relationship.
How long distance is it? She's still in
Michigan,
Florida, right?
No, right? Michigan,
no,
Missouri.
No, Missouri.
One of the.
Oh my God, I did not know that.
Joe said, "My dudes, relationships are a crazy ride, good and bad. But you have gained experience to make you a better person." That's true. That is very true. Every relationship that I ever went through, and that's why I kind of tell you, like with that long distance relationship, maybe you should just end it and like meet some other people around you and just get involved in more relationships. Even if that's friendships, like just like be friends with people and try to understand people and like you know, be you and figure out who the fuck you are, man. You ain't gotta waste time friggin' emailing some chick.
Especially if you haven't met him in person.
And she wants to do that same thing too, you know what I mean? Like,
Especially if you haven't met him in person as well.
yeah, especially with the no person, never met them thing. That's like
Rough.
That's rough.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody does that. And I feel like there's so many red flags, man. There's so many reasons for somebody to take advantage of you when they've never seen you before, but you're supposedly deeply in love. And I don't even know how you fall in love with somebody that you've literally never seen before. That's
well, I'm a
literally the idea
Pisces,
of, like,
so I'll tell you about that.
Falling in love with the idea of somebody. So why don't you just take that idea and actually apply it to a real ass person?
True.
Ooh.
But I also do think that, like, every person that you have dated, like you were saying, like every person that you have dated kind of teaches you something. Even if it didn't work out, you kind of leave, you know, with something new that you probably didn't know about yourself or whatever. You can at least take that to your next relationship, unless that person was just a complete asshole. So, and just a, you know, loser or something. I don't know. I think I could take something away from every single relationship that I've had. And I'm not even like that huge of a ladies man. I was never like a huge closer. I literally can count on both of my hands how many girls I've been with, or like at least like dated, been with. So.
Damn, you don't follow the ABCs, Lundy?
No.
Always be closing.
Every girl, like I don't know.
What he's saying is he likes to be chased.
Me?
Yeah.
I
like for a girl to come after you, like, hey.
I like to be chased.
I
Lundy.
don't know.
Oh, you gotta go.
I've always been the chaser. I've never been chased, I don't think.
I've never been the chaser.
I don't think I ever felt like a girl was going out of her way to like get my attention. Like I've never felt that.
What?
Yeah, 100%.
I've seen girls do that to you, so that's crazy.
I don't know, man.
You just,
then maybe
you just don't understand it.
Yeah, this is the non-closing. Look at my face. I'm saying it, bro.
It's the face of an angel.
I'm an idiot.
We saw it last week, man. You're getting compliments in the chat.
Dog.
Oh yeah, last week.
And remember when I was like, "Are they talking about Austin?"
Yeah,
I didn't just take that. I was like, "Yeah, they're talking about me."
She said that.
She was like, my beautiful black
chocolate
brethren. Or chocolate,
chocolate bears.
Bro, look. I grew up in a house with mainly women, so like my dad was definitely not all the time around. He worked specific hours, and so I was always around my mom and my sister for the most part. And I think like there's just like a level of like women respect, I guess. So I'm just not that dude that goes out like chasing women. Like I don't know. Like of course I've always like appreciate a beautiful girl.
I mean that's not a respect thing though.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
girls like to be chased too.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
As long as you're like.
And I'm never saying
attractive,
I've never tried to, you know, like, hey, like let me take you out or whatever. You know, like I can talk up a girl, but have all my times of not being very successful. Like, you know.
Really?
I can't say that I've ever really like chased a girl and legitimately got it. You know what I mean? Like, it's always been maybe like a mutual, like, we hang out in the same group or whatever, and then maybe eventually there's like, you know, one person finds out that you like another, okay, and then you mutually hang out. But
so
it's never
cute.
been like,
That's
I've
cute.
been at a club, like, oh, you see that girl over there? I'm getting it. You know what I mean? And then be successful. Like,
That's crazy. I've never,
bro.
Actually, have we actually done that? I think me and Kona actually have
I've seen
done
Austin
something
do
like
it.
that.
My boy, shout out to
This was
Ryan.
before I got in a relationship.
Shout out to
I don't want any other girl.
Shout out to y'all, bro.
Austin is a ladies' man.
I'm a loyal ladies man.
He is loyal, but he is nice with the ladies. It's a great wingman.
I believe it.
Great fucking wingman.
Do you think the type of girl that you are into changes your success rate of like?
Absolutely, because
I think that might be my issue.
I'm mostly into lesbians.
Yeah, he likes lesbians, dude. He likes girls he can't get.
Bro.
I just think they're cool. I want to hang out.
I just think you guys are cool, and I just want to
Like-
a little.
They can just
Not to make it like a race thing, but I think predominantly like my main demographic of women are always white women. Redheads specifically, and I think that's the biggest thing is why my success rate wasn't like overly high. Is because I think it's not that I don't think white girls are into black dudes or
They are.
You know,
They are.
Whoa,
They
whoa,
are.
but I think sometimes they can be a little bit more hesitant though. To think about it, like if you,
None of my experience.
Not that I've noticed.
I don't know. When
All my black friends got bitches more than I did.
well,
when
then
we were
I
all
just
together.
suck at life, bro.
Bro, heard him just asked a great question.
Okay,
he
what do we
said,
got?
would you move for your partner if she was the main breadwinner?
Yeah,
Well,
100%.
I moved for my partner, and I was the main breadwinner.
Okay,
But
so
then we
this
broke
doesn't
up.
pertain to you.
I probably would. But what is them being the main breadwinner have anything to do with just? I would just move for somebody that I loved in a general sense. Right. I don't care if they're making more money than me at all. But if I love them and I want to be with them, then yeah, I would totally move for them. I have no problem with that.
You know, some couples are very focused on money, so maybe
it's true.
maybe Joe's house, like they trying to make the financial.
Significant discount just said hi. Significant discount when you if you have a question, go ahead and type it in the chat. We'll be able to help you out.
Yeah.
We're talking about relationships a little bit.
We'll get you in trouble.
We're talking about relationships a little bit, and honestly,
make sure your significant other is not watching the stream, and we will hash this shit out.
And I know mine is.
Yeah.
Which is why we're gonna hash that shit out.
How long have you been in your relationship, Austin?
Uh-oh.
About 4 months.
4 months?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you say that this is like, I mean,
serious?
no, not necessarily.
Would you say this is
serious? Do you think when you first met, do you think it was the easiest going so far? Like
this is a great story actually.
I want to know how you guys met then.
This is a great question.
I'm so glad you asked this question.
This is a very pivotal moment, I feel like, in Austin's life that revolves around this particular question.
Yes.
Cool. Awesome.
So
I picked a good question.
So when I first met her, all right, it was about two and a half years ago. I was pretty much at rock bottom. I was working 3 jobs a day, or not a day. I was working 3 jobs at the time. I had a hurt back, like I was hunched over like this because I got in a bad car accident that almost killed me.
Oh my god.
And we met at a mall. It was fine. We had like 3.
You met
dates.
on Tinder?
We met on Bumble.
Bumble.
And then we met up at a mall.
Okay.
And then we had 3 dates. After the 3 dates, to be honest, we weren't really feeling each other. I didn't have the confidence myself. I didn't like who she kind of was. She cared about a lot of people's opinions and whatnot.
Seemingly.
So I kind of dropped her a little bit. And
she dropped you. Let's be fucking fair.
No. I dropped her. I'm not even saying I'm serious. We will both attest to that.
Okay.
Yeah. Like no, I dropped her
My
because one, I had to focus on getting back to my life. I had to focus on getting,
you had to figure
building
your shit
myself
out.
back up.
Right.
Yes.
Figure your shit out.
Exactly. So I did, and then she came around about 8 months later. She kept watching my stories, kept going in, my social media.
But she got interested as soon as Austin became a high value man.
Right.
Which is like, it's a thing, and like I'm not trying to be like a douchebag or anything, but like, as a male, like it is important to kind of like
be a provider.
Set yourself apart. I mean, just in a general sense of like knowing your worth and not just like, crumbling to any kind of like female attention you get or whatever it is, like knowing what you're gonna do and women can sense that.
Yes.
And Allie, even whether it was subconsciously or not, could sense that about Austin at that time. But from that time till now, he's gone through a growth session.
Absolutely.
Where he's been in social situations and he's tested himself and he's succeeded in all of these things that has given him the confidence to really be like, someone that people just look at and say, well, that's a fine man, you know what I mean? Like he's confident.
So what happened
person
was,
to look up to.
This is actually a good topic because it's actually going to help answer the other question as well for a little bit for long distance.
Mm-hmm.
So what actually happened was she was moving to Missouri to go to college. And, we thought one last time we go to the beach. I was thinking this might be the last time I ever see this girl again. Like, no doubt.
Yeah.
We meet up at the beach and we have a great time. She ends up like opening up to me a lot more. Like we start having deeper conversation and I'm realizing she's kind of changed a little bit. And I'm like, okay. So this is how I knew that I was gonna have her. It was literally this day at the beach. She was describing her ideal guy, and she was describing everything that I had or I was. And I was just straight up with her. I've always been blunt with her. I was always like, "Oh, so you're looking for a guy? So basically, everything you're describing is me." She's like, I mean, yeah, but she's like, we're friends. Like, she was stuck on the friends thing a lot.
Yeah.
Kona knew that. So, what happened was she moved to Missouri. And when she moved to Missouri, that's when we started really, like, talking a lot more. Because I think she started realizing what she had, and she didn't want to lose it. What happened was in Missouri, we started really talking a lot more. But at this time, this is when I started getting to know Kona more too. And Kona got me to go out more. We started hanging out more and going out to like clubs. We started going out,
Talking to people. and
talking
just,
to
like,
people a lot. We would get girls. Like, what would happen is I would talk to my girlfriend every single night on video chat, telling her about my night, and she would see that. Kona would post me on his story and everything. And at that time, when we weren't dating, me and Kona were actually like getting a lot of girls when we were going out.
We were getting a lot of attention.
A lot of attention, yeah. But I mean, there were instances, I'd say about 4 or 5 times where me and Kona like really like got
Getting
some...
attention. A lot of attention.
Yeah.
This is just attention, allegedly.
Allegedly.
And I think it made, you know, me a lot more valuable to her as well. Like, she's like, all right.
Well, she
you know, I
realized,
gotta let
oh,
this down.
I mean, because it's kind of like a primalistic sort of thing.
Right.
Like, in a way, like, girls don't want to be with a guy they just, like, can't get with any girl, and they gotta, like, drag him along. You know, they want a guy that can go and do the damn thing and do whatever, you know, like, can fulfill. Yeah, it was a little Easter egg right there. I like that you caught that.
Do you think that things would have been different if she would have stayed? Do you think
Absolutely.
it was solely because she left that, like, she just
Yep.
kind of like, it was almost like
I don't-
the distance makes the heart grow fonder type situation?
Yes, I don't think we would be together if that didn't happen, and here's why. Because of that. So, if we would have stayed, she wouldn't have got to experience like college guys, because you know she was going to this college and she realized how lame they all were, and she would always tell me about them and talk to me, and be like, they don't compare to you at all. And it made her miss me a whole lot more, and it made her miss, you know, Florida a whole lot more as well. So, but I truly believe in this saying because it really worked for me. If you really love something, let it go. And she freaking came back to me.
That's
so I'm
what's up.
like, now it's mine. She's mine. And I can tell you, it's been the best relationship I've ever had, minus, you know, a few hiccups. But
Everything
I think every relationship.
Everything has a hiccup. This live
Exactly.
stream has hiccups.
Exactly, but I think it's the best relationship I've ever had.
That's what's up.
And this is literally the best girl I've ever been with.
Hell
So-
yeah.
Well, congrats to you, sir. I mean,
Um,
everybody definitely deserves to be happy and have that one person that they can just really, like, confide in and be actually 100% unapologetically themselves.
So we have another question here, guys. Actually, it's
right.
Environmental Owl 32. He says, I haven't been able to see my girlfriend for 1 year and 2 months. Sounds rough because of the coronavirus. Probably will be able to see her in August of this year. Is my relationship okay? I do a lot of phone calls.
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously, we're not there to 100% feel or know how you're feeling, but I feel like if you guys are still in contact after all this time, that I would assume that it has to be some level of okay. And then on top of that, she's got to know that the coronavirus wasn't your fault. You know what I mean? So, like, she also has to know that if it wasn't for this, that you guys would have seen each other multiple times by now and might have been hanging out and stuff of that nature. So I definitely wouldn't put so much pressure on yourself in that sense to worry if everything's okay, because really you just got to ask yourself, are you guys still talking, or
Here's a great question: do you feel any kind of blame coming from her about that? Do you feel pressure? Does she make comments towards you about you not seeing her? If you both understand what the situation is, then I would say you're fine. But if there's some sort of, if she's making like little comments or little weird, you know, girls say things for a reason.
Right, yeah, for sure.
In my experience.
Yeah.
They say things for a reason. So if there's any kind of like hints of her feeling like, well, you could do this and you're not doing that, that's going to come into a problem whether it's realistic or not. So you got to, you know, kind of, you know, figure that out.
Definitely gauge it on how she feels too. Like you said, like if you feel like she's saying very specific things that may have you worrying or whatever case may be, then I mean, you definitely want to like catch those flags if you can. But for the most part, I feel like if you guys are still talking, you're already planning on seeing her pretty soon, you know, and stuff of that nature, then, you know, go for it. What I would say too is just when you do get to see her, make that the best moment ever. Like, You know, like when you guys finally, when you get off your plane or whatever, and you guys see each other for the first time after all this time, I'm telling you, make that shit worthwhile, bro. Like,
He's saying have freaky sex.
there you go. right in the
In the terminal.
Yeah, right there in the terminal. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead and just get it
Join
done,
that
bro.
Mile High Club.
You know what I'm saying? Make every moment that you guys are together just like, you know, make up for the fact that you weren't able to see each other. You know what I mean? Just as long as the feelings are there, I think you guys are solid. Austin's in a relationship. I'm in a relationship. Andrew is not in a relationship. And not technically, for real, Andrew's the only one who's been married before. So, I feel like we should...
So, what he's telling you is I'm a sensei of relationship advice.
Joe heard him asked another question.
Okay.
He said if trust in a relationship is huge, what would be the second thing? I would say
Okay.
loyalty. Or communication.
No, communication is pretty key.
Can I make a controversial
I can't wait to hear this.
statement?
Kona has the weirdest fucking advice with relationships, but it works sometimes.
At least where I'm at personally, with you know, when I think about, you know, would I get into another relationship, like, I think a big thing that people don't really consider is like that you guys like the same stuff. And that one seems like a dumb one because you're like, oh, but we love each other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like, eventually, that shit gets really fucking old when like, I want to do something and you don't want to come with me. Or she wants to do something, and I'm like, God, that sounds like a goddamn nightmare.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know,
What?
it's funny that you say that because I'm in a 6-year relationship. Actually, it will be 6 years on the 27th this month. Shout out to Ash, love you, girl. I love my girlfriend to death.
My
She's
dog.
literally my best friend. I've never
too.
dated anyone that I could ever say that I love waking up to every day. Like, we do a lot of stuff together. We do have things in common, but I'm glad that you said that because there was definitely a moment in time where I had to question whether or not I felt like I was with the right person because of how many differences we did have. Like, and Andrew knows my girlfriend. Like, how many shows do you think she's been to? Out of all the shows that we've done to, how many do you think she's actually gone to?
85, 90%?
Okay, so like, but
Less, 70?
I
mean, you've done some that I didn't go to.
Right.
So.
Well, she's definitely been to a good amount of them. I think. I guess that's how I feel though. Like, usually saying like, I want to go do stuff. I want you to come with me. She's pretty different in the aspect that I love being around people. She's not like a huge crowd people person type situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think if it was
And you thrive in that situation.
And I thrive on it. You know what I mean? I love that shit. So like, she does go to shows, but she leaves as soon as I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't hang out. She doesn't like going out. Like, that's not really her thing. So like, yeah, I mean, that is pretty important because there are definitely moments where I'm like, man, like, I wish she would just be down to go do some stuff. But at the same time, I love the differences because
You can make it work, but I just think it's a big
there's things
thing.
about her that she likes to do that like I probably would have never like gone out of my way to go out and do, but I do it because I love her and you know it's something new. And so I think I think that's where the accountability comes to. If it was something that I wanted to do, she would go do it. You know what I mean? But would she like doing it? Who knows? You know.
Environmental Owl said, really good advice. Thank you. !
Hey, we're here for you, man.
If you want any more good/bad advice,
I feel like
Tune in every Tuesday at 6-ish.
anybody who's gonna ask us about the long-term relation or long-distance relationship thing, I think literally like the big two things I would always say is one, notice the red flags.
Yes.
Don't be dumb and don't just like sweep it under the rug and act like it's not happening. The red flags are red flags. Notice them for a reason. And then number two, if everything is going good, keep things interesting. That's basically what it comes down to. You can't do the same monotonous things, like especially if you're going to be on the phone and FaceTiming and stuff like that. Make some new stuff. Get some new stuff going, bro. Like, keep that stuff interesting. You know, yeah, that's why we, keep
And
things spicy.
if you want my advice for long-term relationships, don't. Just don't.
So
It's like it better be like you both are international business people or like spies or like some shit like that, and only you two can find the
Mr. and
time
Mrs.
to like to like bone each other in Paris or some shit. Otherwise, do not do that shit.
So here's the question that I was gonna ask you earlier: is and through your for fun fact, I was one of his groomsmen in his wedding.
Yes.
That shit was fun too.
My wedding was amazing, actually.
One of the best, dude. Literally, if not, no, might have been the best wedding that I've ever been to. That shit
I'm
was
happy
fun,
with
bro.
top 2.
That shit was, it's definitely, if not the best, the second best. It doesn't matter, but like definitely top.
It was a fun time.
It was so much fun, bro. So here's my question: what do you think is the number one thing that you feel like you took away from that specific relationship, or at least just, and because I obviously know about the other relationship you were in too, but out of those few things that happened to you through through that time, especially being married, and especially because you were with her for a really, really long time before,
7 years,
so what's the one thing you think you took away from that you feel is most important for Andrew moving on into your next phase?
I think it might be what I just told you. You know, like, I think a very basic response is trust and communication,
Right.
but I think like a more advanced response, like, you know, the thing that tore me and my ex apart, not my ex-wife, but my ex, was the fact that like while we like to do some of the same things, like there were just a lot of things that like I wanted to do that like she just wouldn't do, and like, you know, it's just at some point you got to figure out like what kind of life you want to live, and I see a lot of people that are trapped, and I guess that's like my biggest fear is I don't want to be in a situation where my partner just doesn't allow me to live my life the way that I want to live it, and I'm living some sort of like false created life for them. And I think it took all of my relationships to get here, to be confident enough to stand on my own as a single human being and just be like, I'm fine being single.
Right.
I'm here to do things. I'm here to make jams like this right here. Check it out on Apple Music and Spotify.
Yeah, for all of you guys coming in right here, all of these songs that you're hearing, a lot of the instrumentals and the songs you're hearing are made by Andrew and myself. Majority of the beats are all made by him. The songs you're hearing, including this one, is made.
Got a couple more questions. We're gonna get right to you.
Arthur M. asked, broke up, willing to come back, talk me out of it.
Okay, you are my guy, Arthur. Don't do it! I'm just kidding. Hold on. Arthur, we need a little bit more information. Why did you break up? Like, whose idea was it? Was it your idea or her idea? That's what I need to know.
That's why we need people to call in. That'd be awesome.
We are going to have a call-in line very shortly.
Oh my gosh!
That's
so cool!
What a moment in time, bro.
No, you know what else is crazy? The remix played second track when you were talking about it. I didn't plan that, I just hit shuffle.
Shit's
God
divine
damn.
intervention, bro.
insane.
We out here.
So, did she break up with you? Why do you want to go back? Do you guys have fun together?
Okay, he said, yeah, she was clinically depressed and I waited until she broke up herself because I didn't want to ramp her condition up.
Wow. Okay, so that sounds like a very toxic situation, personally.
Yeah, I wouldn't be back in that.
I've been in situations with a lot of depressed females, actually. I seem to attract them. Like, I'm a depressed chick magnet, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And, or maybe there's just a lot of depression. I don't know. There's definitely a mental health crisis in the world. So let me not try to down talk anybody, but just say, like, you know, that happens. People get depressed, and
So
that is a tough road. Hold on.
Go ahead.
That is a tough road. Like, deciding to be with someone who is depressed takes so much extra effort away from like just being with a normal person, because you have to tend to their well-being all the time. You have to guard every word that you say, every action that you make. Is it going to interfere with their psychological process for the day? You know, are they going to snap on you, and can you handle that? So I think that takes a lot of self-awareness. You have to decide for yourself, are you the kind of man that can handle being in a relationship with a depressed person, and can you take them over your shoulder and go yard with that? We've all had Captain Save a Chick syndrome. Yeah, I didn't say ho for a reason.
I actually have a great response to this.
Okay, let's hear it.
I have a great answer. Because I was in this situation back when I was 18. I had my first relationship. I was the one that was actually depressed though, and I realized, you know, when I became that, I started relying on them a whole lot more for my own happiness, and that could be very toxic as well. Because think of it as like your cup, right? You have a cup. Say it's like halfway full, and then your other halves is empty. They're gonna take the rest of what you have in your cup, and now you're both gonna be empty. That's how I've always kind of seen it. I not only did my energy transfer to her and it made her more depressed, it's like it kept creating this toxic environment. I think it needs to be both cups full and they're filling up together, and for it to be a good relationship. If not, you're never gonna be happy. She's never gonna be happy, and you're always gonna be codependent on each other.
Almost honestly kind of a similar thought process where like my girlfriend that I have now, in the middle of our relationship, I definitely had a moment and had to really come out and explain to her my depression and how I feel about things, and it definitely got to a point that got really dark. But I think the biggest thing, like you're saying, the two glasses filling up, is what I realized through that experience was that if you're going to date somebody that has a depression or has some type of like mental whatever that's going on, the biggest thing for me is that not that it's not necessarily possible, but there's a self-accountability that has to come with it. If you're going to be aware that you have depression and choose not to do anything about it,
right,
that's where it doesn't work.
You use them as your crutch.
Right, and that was my biggest thing, was that if I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna tell my girlfriend how I feel about this and whatever the case may be, and I'm gonna push myself to be in this relationship, then I have to have my self-accountability and of what am I doing in my life to allow that energy to come in and control me like that. And I can't just sit in my room every day and expect for my relationship or my partner to be pouring her water and her good energy into me, because that's just draining her out. So yeah, it's you got to know those flags. If you're gonna be with somebody that is depressed, help, be there for them and help them as much as they can, but they also have to know that there's a self-accountability that comes with it. If they're doing absolutely nothing to change and absolutely nothing to like really attack that, then that's when you probably need to realize that that might not work out. If you can't take care of yourself, it's absolutely impossible to expect to take care of somebody else. It's impossible.
Exactly. And with my situation, when we broke up, yeah, it left me heartbroken, but that was like the best thing that could actually happen to me, because I was relying on her for my happiness. And when we did break up, I was alone. So when I was alone, now I'm going out, I'm going to the library, I'm working on self-improvement, I'm doing these things, I'm hanging out with certain people to help me out, I'm seeing a therapist. So when I did leave her, I actually started feeling a lot better, if that makes sense. So maybe it won't be bad for her. Maybe she'll start working on herself, and then maybe she'll grow into a better person like I did.
I want to clear this up because, actually, I'm glad that the camera was on you, because I just started laughing out of nowhere, and I didn't want people to think that I was laughing at your answer or whatever to get you big. We're obviously having some beers or whatever. I have a belt buckle that has a bottle opener on the back of it, and I constantly use that, but I keep forgetting that there's a bottle opener on my keychain. So I keep doing it this hard way of like lifting up my belt buckle and opening it up and looking awkward when I can just use it, and I literally just realized that. And Andrew just stared at me like so hard. And I was like, bro, I don't know why I've been doing some extra shit.
Also, guys, Arthur said, I thought I was depressed too for a time, then we broke up, and suddenly I'm a happy and stable person.
Hey, yo.
Stay out there, Arthur.
Stay out of it.
Man.
Stay out of it.
Let her go. Let her go.
It takes a real motherfucker to realize that self shit. And that's what it comes down to, bro. Sometimes you don't need to be in a relationship. My best friend, like right now, shout out to Ryan Wilson, my best friend, he cannot be in a relationship. He's just not a commitment kind of dude, but I think it took a couple of times of him trying or whatever to realize that, and yeah, he got really down on himself, because he would see me like getting in a relationship, being there for at least 4 or 6 months, and whether it worked out, maybe it didn't, whatever.
Why can't I continue?
But like, yeah, and then he would get in a relationship, and then they're on and off and on and off, and it's never anything consistent. He always wanted, but I think he finally just realized that he's not that dude. He just wants to be himself. He wants to do his shit, and when that's ready, it's time. But it takes a real motherfucker to like really look at yourself and be like, "Hey, I'm good, bro. It's fine."
That's where I'm at, man.
It's good right now, bro.
I don't need a girl at all. I actually got in an argument with people at work about this. They were like, They
You
were
got
like,
an argument with my girl about this.
oh yeah. They were like, no, you need a person, like, you need a woman to complete you. And I was like, no, you don't.
You need to make sure that, I think
You need to leave a mark on the earth. That's all you gotta do, like a fucking asteroid, bro.
I've told
like,
this to
leave a
somebody
mark.
before, and I forgot who it was, but I basically was like, you need focus on yourself, focus on making you happy, and then when you radiate that energy, that like goodness, because you're genuinely happy and you're genuinely doing the things that you want to do, that attracts people into your life. You don't need somebody to complete you, but you just want somebody to be able to share those moments and things, and happiness. You need somebody to, you don't need somebody, you want somebody to share your life's moments with. You don't need someone to do that, but the sooner you realize that making yourself happy and doing your own thing and, making your own world and bringing that vibe, when you go out, that vibe is attractive to other people. And that's how you make friends, and that's how you get girlfriends, and that's how you get good jobs, and all those things. You radiate, that cosmic energy.
It's actually really cool. Like, I have a lot of girls that like kind of hit on me right now, and I just like talk to them, but like I don't want to be in a relationship. Like,
and honestly, I would think
I'm busy, man.
I would
You
think
can't.
in a weird psychological way that honestly makes you even more attractive.
Oh yeah, it
because
does.
it's like an unattainable
Yeah.
thing, and
Yeah.
especially for women. And I'm not a girl, so whatever.
No, for
correct
men
me if
too.
I'm wrong,
For men
but-
too. For
yeah,
men too.
Yeah.
You
But
see
like,
a girl and she's like,
oh, yeah,
like,
but you
you're
want her
like,
even more now because you're like,
wow,
fuck, she's
holy
taking
shit.
her. Oh
Yeah,
man, but
yeah.
you're just waiting for that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
High value men.
Mm-hmm.
This is what Austin had to demonstrate to attract Allie. Before he was just, he's a young man.
Yeah.
He's almost 10 years younger than us. You know what I mean? In a way. So like, we've already been through the things that he's been through. But like, at first she just saw, a young man, not really sure of himself, and now she sees like a confident man that has like shit going on, wants to do stuff in the world, and that's hot.
Yeah.
And honestly, for a lot of my life, like, I didn't really care about seeing that in girls, and I guess that's kind of like what got me into some trouble, I guess, maybe. I guess now I really want to see, like, for me to get another relationship, I want to see a girl that's running like at the same pace as I am.
Right.
I want someone that's like, that like sees me, what I'm doing, and they're like, that's cool as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, I see what they're doing, and I'm like, that's cool as fuck. I guess even if they're not doing anything, as long as they see what I'm doing and they think it's cool as fuck, that's my most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
My most important thing is not being in a relationship. My most important thing is making this music, handling my relationships and like my friendships with you and Austin, and taking care of these people. So like, in a way, I feel like I have a family, sort of, web, but just not the traditional sense.
Right.
Like I have.
I honestly had to kind of figure that out for myself too, and it's really nice.
We got a couple more comments here from Arthur. He said, her depression started once we were 1 year in. We were happy, compatible and all. I endured a lot. She endured a lot. Still, it wasn't good to continue it. I thought I was depressed too for a time, then we broke up, and suddenly I'm a happy and stable person. Damn, I wish I could crack a cold one with y'all.
Yeah, bro.
Dude,
hey, man.
I wish I could. What we are going to do eventually is like, once we've, we started streaming, this is actually the 8th stream. So we are at officially 2 months of doing this live stream on Reddit. And our plan is to make connections with you guys and potentially see you guys in person at some point. Like, we make music, and as soon as this COVID thing opens up, we want to get out there, and we would love to fucking meet all of you guys. So
shout out to you though, man.
Shout out to you
for
dealing with that.
And sorry, and from the bottom of my heart, I always hate seeing people go through any type of bullshit or whatever case may be. But like we were saying before, like kind of everything happens for a reason. And when you are in relationships, even when you get out of them, you kind of always take something away from it, a learning lesson, something that moves you on to the next one. And I already think you're an amazing, strong person for coming out of that and realizing that, hey, like, maybe that was the best thing to kind of happen to me. I'm sure that you still have some feelings for this person and want them to be okay, but like we were saying before, if they have to have some type of personal responsibility from themselves too, whether that's going to a doctor, therapist, make prescriptions, whatever it is, that's a personal responsibility to take care of themselves, because if they can't take care of themselves, they can't take care of other people. And like Austin said, you're just filling up their cup with your own happiness, and eventually yours is going to run out dry. So it's a good, I'm glad that you were able to at least realize this on the back end, that maybe you're just happier right now, and that's going to lead you into being able to do a lot of better things, maybe even meet a better person.
Let me give you some further hope too. Is like, some of the very depressed girls that I have been in relationships with, sometimes breaking up with them and really like, being firm about it made them make changes in their lives. It doesn't always break someone. And I think nowadays we really kind of like mess that up. Like we think like only, and this isn't a bad thing to like think to take care of people, but also sometimes you have to drown to like learn how to swim. You know what I mean? Like, and especially with one of my previous relationships, when I broke it off with her, she was very dependent on me, and she changed her life instantly. She went and did a whole bunch of things for herself that made her more, accessible, and she started making more money and all these kinds of things. So like, is that Kava? My dog! Oh!
I've never had kava before. I don't
What?
think. Yeah, no. I'm not even sure what it is, but I'm down.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, my last ex, fuck her. But she was super toxic to the sense that like I dropped everything for her though. Like I stopped hanging out with certain friends because she didn't, like the people that I was doing, and I was only hanging out with her and her friends. And she was the kind of person that when you were around her, all she would be doing basically was just like talking shit about other people. And that was one thing that I realized was like crazy.
That's trash.
Yeah, and then finally we dated for like 6 months. And I just remember, like, there's a couple of days where, like, she just wasn't talking to me. And then she texted me and broke up with me over text. And I was just like, okay. You got a girlfriend?
Oh, hold on.
We will get into that.
And next.
Right now, things are up in the air.
Okay. It be like that, though.
Yo, so what's up with this kava, man? What are we doing?
Okay, so I've never had kava. Somebody explain to me what kava is. All right,
It is a herbal.
Okay, thank you.
It is a ceremonial drink of sorts, right?
There you go.
I would say. Ceremonial. Almost.
It looks milky.
Austin?
This one does look milky. Is this from the? Where's this from?
This one's from Driftwood.
Driftwood, which is right next to the gym we go to. What's up?
Well,
Yeah, I canceled my membership. Cause
David.
there'd be too many tryhards in there. I'm just kidding.
David's going anytime now.
Oh yeah? Have you been already? Yo, I need another chair for you.
All right, so we got a couple questions here, guys. First off, not really a
Yes, I do.
question, but Arthur said
Yo,
being
I'm
a
gonna grab
kid
you a chair.
under 30 is fine.
Thanks,
no
dude.
offense, Lundy. Tongue face.
Yeah, whatever, bud.
And then also, just to be with the Grease said, dude on the right in a 7-year relationship. Ever thinking about marriage?
Oh man, so I've always said that like the worst part about being in my 30s and being in a 6-year relationship is the pressure of fucking being married. But yes, I 100% have thought about marriage. I literally am dating my best fucking friend. I love her to death. I definitely want to marry her. And what sucks right now is because of Corona, a lot of things kind of like got in the way of that. So last year I had picked up a second job, and I was saving all of that money for her ring, and then thank you. And then COVID happened. I didn't lose my job, but my girlfriend was definitely really worried about it, so she didn't go back to work. I worked through all of it, and I mean, basically all the money that I had saved from my other job, I had to use to get by. You know what I mean? So, and so I'm kind of just starting all over. So it's not that it's not gonna happen. It's just more of like I'm basically just kind of getting back into the drift of it. But I've already asked permission on both of her parents if that was cool. I love her family and everything. I got the blessing. Shout out to Papa Eddie. Shout out to Mama Tony. You know what time it is. All right, back to this kava. What is this?
This is kava, so we're gonna drink some kava right now. It is totally legal, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Cheers, boys.
What kind of?
It's legal.
Is it? So is it alcohol? Is it?
No, it's not alcohol. It's an alternative to alcohol.
Okay.
It does hit the liver though, so we don't want to mix alcohol and kava.
Oh.
That's all right though. It's not that much. How many beers have you had?
3 on my 4th, I
Great.
think.
Well, just take it slow on the kava.
I'm a real
Take it
man. Let's go.
slow. I know you're a man, but just take it slow. I'm worried about
Okay.
it. All right, so when we do this, we yell out "bula." This is
Bula.
from Fiji. It's a Fijian
Okay.
drink.
Okay.
Okay.
I've never done the bula thing. This is cool. What is this?
So it means to health and wellness.
Hell
Okay.
yeah, bula.
So like 1, 2, 3. Bula!
All
All right.
All
That was a
right.
practice run, right? No. Oh, shit.
Thank you, David.
Ooh,
that is
yeah,
interesting.
thank you, bro.
So,
What it does is it gives you like a third eye. I swear to God.
yeah, it does.
The shit, like you feel
This
all
is a
this.
hallucinogen? Y'all ain't tell me? I mean, I'm always down for a good trip, but y'all gotta let a nigga know.
No, but it's not a hallucinogen really. Like it just like calms you. But it does give you like this focus, this mental.
I think that's the crowd, bro.
Oh, kind of. Oh, what is it, cop? What is
the
the cop?
kava, it numbs the tongue, and then it gives you a little bit of like alcohol.
My
effect.
tongue is numb.
Okay.
Oh.
But the kratom, it totally fucks us up. that totally.
The kratom
Yeah,
definitely fucked us up.
All right, heard that. Well, then what I'll do is
My tongue is
chill
numb
on
already.
this and work on this.
Yeah.
Like you said, slowly. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, I've never tasted anything like this.
They call it mud, right? Mud.
It's
water,
weirder.
yeah.
It's
Mud.
weirder in the beginning and way more delightful at the end. Is that? You know what I mean? Like at first I was like, I don't know if I like it, but then it sits on my tongue and I'm like, I like the flavor.
How's the drink spelled? K-A-V-A.
Kava. Kava.
This is super interesting. There's something happening over here. I'm not sure. Y'all, hey, I'm gonna need y'all to check in on me
One is like this-
periodically.
This strange man came in and gave me a strange drink.
No,
from a strange.
Hey, weird
strange
thing-
land. What's
I've
going-
done weirder fucking things. So
Oh, I know you have.
I've had strangers give me all kinds of weird shit. I'm like, let's go. So this ain't it. I'm an experimenter. Let's fucking run it, bro.
Just
You were about to ask this man here if he had a girlfriend.
Yeah. You have a girlfriend? How's that rolling? Yeah, I know you said it's kind of up in the air, but I don't know if you don't have to get into it if you want
There's
to.
a
But
chick that wants to be in a relationship, but
you don't.
we'll feel out the we'll.
He's
feel
a
it
high
out,
value
you know?
man, like we were talking about earlier. He has
What do you
things
do?
he wants to
Does he
accomplish.
work at Verizon?
No.
What do you do?
So,
I just met him.
Let him answer
I'm grilling
himself.
him. I'm grilling him right now.
I just like trade stocks and crypto.
Oh shit. Okay, I see you. Oh shit, he's in that. Okay. Fuck. I feel you. Okay, well then yeah, you definitely would want to like kind of. How long have you been like at least talking to this person? Like, have you known each other for a really long time? Did you guys just
I
meet?
met her at Ferg. So
there is a
actually,
story.
Austin and I-
There is
yeah.
a story behind this.
Okay.
So basically, what happened was we were working out, and I saw David in the gym locker room, and he started talking stocks. I trade stocks as well, just a little bit, not as much as this guy. And we just started kicking it and talking about stocks and everything. And as soon as we left the gym, we were actually going out that night to Ferg's while Conan was at work. But
I was trying to go, but
yeah, we were all going out to watch the McGregor fight at Ferg's, and I invited David out. Sure enough, David shows up. First time meeting him, I thought that was pretty fucking dope. and he maxed on this dude's girl, and he took her. He took his girl.
Fucking lit.
This
Dude.
Mr. Steal Your Girl right here.
Damn, legit, dude. That song was about you.
I mean, with the hair. I mean, as soon as you came in, they were like the hair.
Oh, you guys are boosting me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know an attractive man when I see one, and you stealing other niggas' girls and shit. We out here, bro.
On to David here, because David has
shit.
a very, very interesting situation, and we'd like to talk about it.
The current one?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's only 4,000 people watching. No worries.
I mean, it's a chill situation.
Yeah. If you're okay with it.
I think most chicks push for like a relationship.
Yeah.
That's the stage that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
And my last relationship, for lack for a better term, dude, that chick was trying to use my dick like a joystick.
Whoa.
Use my
Yeah.
dick like a joystick.
What's wrong with that?
I mean, she was a.
Wait.
Sounds like it hurts.
Okay, she was using your dick as a joystick, but not actually, wanting the rest of the thing, or what?
No, it was just like I just wasn't feeling the energy, and made it known, and that's where the friendship boundary
was crossed.
was crossed. Yeah, for sure.
At
It's
least
an
you know
energy
this shit,
exchange.
though, bro. You gotta know what you want, though, and it's not always just about sex and shit. And sex is great and all, but like if you can't do anything else, or that's the like only heightened part of the relationship, then yeah, I mean, That's better for most people. I feel like there's a lot of dudes out there that just let that ride just because. So.
There are a lot of people everywhere that just let shitty relationships ride. I guarantee you 70% of you that are watching this that are in a relationship are in a relationship that's not going to last. So just end that shit. Do what you want to do.
He came right back in with the heavy beat. We go. Drop that shit. You know what time the fuck it is. Kava fucking it up.
It's time to get lit.
My tongue's numb, so you know I'm going to talk that shit.
I actually work with my girlfriend, which is another big thing because I feel like a lot of people
That's
can't
a
work.
no-no on my list.
Yes, yes.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, me and my girlfriend have been working with each other the whole time. Like, the whole time. And so I actually, me and my girlfriend went to the same school. I'd never met her when we were in high school. My girlfriend's actually a year older than me, so she would have graduated before I, but I knew her sister and relatively well. One day, she started working at CONABANDS. I met my girlfriend there. We worked with each other for a while. Her sister came in, and I was like, oh, hey, like, you know, said, hey. She was like, oh, we're here to see my sister. And I was like, oh, who's your sister? She said, Ashley. And I was like, damn, I didn't even know, like, you guys were, you know, that's pretty cool. So, weird enough that I would have, like, really kind of known her whole family, or at least known of her through all this time. But she actually had a boyfriend at that time whose name was Justin, which is my first name for you guys who don't know, so, yeah. So, like, she had a boyfriend named Justin. That didn't, she ended up breaking
I like
up
the
or whatever
other
the case to be. Well, no, it was, they broke up, and at that time I was single too, whatever, so she chilled for probably like a good year, you know, after that breakup. And then there was one day where we were out after work. There's an Applebee's next to my job, so we always tend to like
I've been to that
get drunk
Applebee's
and shit over there. But there was one night where me and my best friend Ryan were hanging, and she had mentioned that she was just tired of kind of like being at home and not doing anything, so she wanted to go out. And I was like, come out with me and Ryan, like, you know, like me and him are a good ass time. We know how to fucking party. Like, you can do your own thing, you know. But she ended up being like a really cool ass person to hang out with. And I always knew she was cool, but we actually spent time together and like hung out. So after that, there would be multiple times where me and Ryan would be chilling. And one day we came from a party and he ended up getting a strip of acid. And he was like, he came to me and was like, hey man, like, I got this acid, you want to take it? I'm like, yeah. He's like, but here's the thing, we have enough for 3 people. And I was like, oh shit. He's like, who should we call? And I was like, immediately picked up the phone. I called Ash. I was like, hey, you want to trip with us? Sure. Came over. It came over, and like that was like that trip and that day was the moment that I knew that I was probably going to like pursue this a lot more. Like we just had the best trip together. Nothing like any crazy.
That's important.
Nothing
You got to
sexual.
be able to have a good trip.
Nothing sexual. Nothing.
Gotta be
crazy.
happy campers.
It was just we were hanging. And we had like a good trip together and, you know, funny times. And it's something that like we always, like we have inside jokes and shit about all the time still now. So I just think it was super organic, you know, like just 2 people hanging out and, you know, it was pretty dope.
Yeah.
Do you
I
think
went
it's
about
smart
that
to
in a very strange way.
ask your, you know, soon-to-be wife or whatever, like what she wants or like her ring size, things like that? Because I feel like when you're doing that, it's supposed to be like this secret thing. You go behind her back and ask her friends and blah,
So
blah,
I
blah,
have presented.
and they make it a surprise. But do you ask those kind of things?
So like
I have
ring
presented
size.
2 rings in my life. I have presented 2 rings before. I've been engaged twice. So the first time, I got a, I actually got a hand-me-down from her grandmother. It was her grandmother's ring, and that was basically like a huge endorsement, like, hey, marry our daughter.
Oh, that's not the
You know. Second time, I was broke as fuck, but I got really creative with it. I had this this black star sapphire that I had got in North Carolina, and I had it made into a ring.
Oh shit.
So it was like a little bit more special, but not like expensive like a diamond ring. And I was actually pretty proud of that, and everyone loved that actually.
That's pretty dope.
So
That's unique.
I mean, if I would do it again, I'd probably do something similar, just something unique, because I'm not with all that like bullshit. Like
I'm trying to figure out like what's the best way to go about it. And then funny enough, I was searching online at like just the like kind of like the build your own type rings type whatever, and just looking at stuff online just to see, you know, what it looks like and what kind of different things I need to know going into it. And of course, phones these days fucking save everything or whatever the
Yep.
case may be, and you start talking about it, whatever. I shit you not, like my girlfriend, I was showing her something on Facebook, and she scrolled, and like the site that I was on, and rings just started popping up on my Facebook. So that now she like definitely knows. And we've had conversations about it at this point, but now it's funny because like I'll look over sometime, we're just chilling, and I'll look over and she's looking at rings, and I'm like, oh fucking god, dude, it's so wild. So I guess at this point it is whatever.
You're about to get married. That's what that means.
I mean, yeah, it is what it is. But it's just funny. Like I always try to like figure out like how do I figure out her ring size, and like what do I figure out if she likes this or whatever. You know, it's just whatever. I've literally had her friends like, I'm like, I know she's going over your house. Like, show her your ring and like ask her what she likes and stuff like that, just to get an idea and whatever.
That's what they do. They all try to get each other married. Like once one of them gets married, they're like, oh, I gotta get every other one of my friends married, or this is gonna suck.
Her best friend just got married, so it was like a whole thing.
Oh, it's over, bro.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
You're about to get married.
I heard a whole
It's
story
a
about
fucking
car ride
domino.
they had while we were there.
It's
It
a
was wild.
goddamn domino effect.
Oil Nick 710 said smoke DMT.
I have. Thank you.
Bro, we talk about this all the
I
time.
have.
Can you tell us the
I wanna
story of your
try it.
DMT trip?
Yes,
I
I
actually
can.
want to hear
I'll
this.
do that.
100%.
I would do that.
Yo, DMT, first of all, is absolutely dope. And it's what's really dope about it is
Literally.
that it really, even good DMT will only really last about like less than 10 minutes. Like seven minutes is like a sweet spot. But yeah, I was supposed to do DMT at this festival that I went to, but it got rained out, and the tent that me and the dude who brought the DMT and got flooded, so like all our drugs and shit got fucked up in that, and it was pretty fucked up. So I didn't do it then. But the weekend after, we were at a friend's house, and I happened to be talking about it. We all, like my friends that we all went to this festival. So this is the weekend after, we're chilling at his house, and we were all just talking about our experience, and I had mentioned that I never got to do DMT. So one of my dudes was like, "You've never done DMT?" And I was like, "Nope." I shit you not, he got up, went to his car, came back with a big ass black duffel bag, put it on the ground, opened it up, and pulled out like a dab rig, and was like, "Let's go." And we fucking went in that bitch. So I fucking like took a dab basically, held this shit in, and immediately like holding it in, I just started getting really tired. Somebody behind me put on like this sound speaker, so it started making like this pulsating kind of sound, like whoomp, 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 kind of like that. So then I closed my eyes, I laid back on this bed, and as I'm looking, I see nothing but darkness, but all of a sudden these colors start pulsating to the same rhythm that the sound is making. So it's like boom, 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 and it starts getting faster, like boom, 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 and then boom! Like I swear there was like this explosion of light, so everything just went white.
The rocket ship, right?
Yeah, basically, and all of a sudden there was just this white. And so, you guys have seen Dragon Ball Z,
Hell yeah.
right?
love
You
Dragon
know
Ball.
how when they have fights in Dragon Ball Z, they always have them in those like rural ass areas with like big mountains and there's like green and brown. I shit you not, there was an explosion of white, and then I just found myself in that area, and I was fighting aliens, like 100%. Dragon Ball Z style. So like, and people that I was with were around. They were throwing. They had blasters coming out of their hands. Aliens were throwing blasters. I was getting hit. My body was shaking. I was shooting blasters, bro. 100% blasted off into a Dragon Ball Z episode.
That was fucking awesome.
And it was awesome. And then the best part about it was like I came back out of it after like 6 minutes. I came out of it, and the feeling of DMT afterwards literally just feels like a really nice roll. Like you're just on MDMA and you just have like this really energetic kind of a staticky kind of feel, and it was just crazy awesome. But no, super dope, and I actually have some type of plan of doing it sometime relatively soon. Yeah,
Anyways.
I have a dude.
We're gonna
that
do
has
it live
I have a dude that
on
has it.
stream. Just
Live in the RV
allegedly.
with friends.
This is allegedly.
So you mentioned that it only lasted about 7 to 10 minutes. Did it feel like when you were on it that it was forever though?
It's right there.
In a sense,
Like
I
the first door up the steps.
what I was told was because as soon as I came out of it, I immediately was able to like talk to my friends about like every detail about it. And one of my friends actually told me that was actually pretty astonishing, because just like any kind of dream, a lot of the time people don't remember them. But I lucid dream a lot. So when I have dreams, I remember every detail very well, especially when I immediately wake up. So for me, it wasn't that.
Are you ever able
weird.
to do things in your dreams?
Yeah,
Like go
yeah.
to like
Yeah.
dictate what happened. You do
Yeah.
that too? That's
Yeah.
I do
lucid
it
dreaming.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was this one time I had this reoccurring dream. It was like 4 or 5 of them, and it happened regularly over a course of a couple months. And it would always pick up where I left off, and it basically told this whole story about this house that I had lived in the past, and it ended up being
I have
haunted.
somewhere like that.
The
I
house
have a
ended up
house
being
reoccurring
haunted.
dream too.
Yeah, the house ended up being haunted, which was never was real. But in my dream, the house, one of the houses that I lived in, I found like a secret basement in it, and I found out that it was haunted. And the girl that was like haunting the house, I found out her name and everything through finding the secret basement in the house. But all of these parts happened separately. So like the first dream was like me in the house and weird things happening. The second one was, you know, it happening to other people and people being like, oh shit, like there's stuff going on in the house. The third one was me actually physically seeing the actual girl and the ghost. The fourth one was like me finding the basement, and the fifth one was like me exploring the basement and finding her name. It was like, yeah, it was really wild.
sounds like a whole game.
I literally could have wrote a
Like
book
you were
about
doing chapters, bro.
it. It was really crazy.
That house you were in was haunted.
Not in real life, but in my dream, the house I had picked a house that I had lived in was real, but in reality it wasn't haunted. But in my dream it was.
Have any of you ever seen a ghost?
Yeah, I've seen one.
What do you mean?
So, my great grandma died in my grandparents' house, and when I was living in their guest room at the time, I woke up in the middle of the night. And my great grandma Mima was at the side of my bed, at the end of my bed, when I woke up. And then I got scared, of course. I was like 13. I went underneath the covers, and then took them off, and she was gone.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I had when I was like 12. This sounds so stupid. I can't even like. I feel stupid saying it, but like there was a hand that came out of the sliding glass door and was on my shoulder. Like,
Whoa!
and
Are you
I'm
sure you weren't royally fucked
I
up?
don't know. No, I was a little kid. I was like 8
Oh, you were a
years
kid.
old.
Okay. Are you sure you weren't royally fucked up?
I mean, aren't all little kids fucked up?
So are these ghosts in dreams or in like?
That
the
was,
conscious?
dude. That is
Mine was
real to
real.
me. Like in
Mine
my,
was real.
you know, like I'm sure it didn't really happen, but like in my mind's eye, it really happened. You know what I mean?
I actually had it was it was last year. My girlfriend's best friend got married, and it was actually at her house that I had my very first paranormal experience. Her son has said ever since they moved into this house that there's a man upstairs in his playroom, so where all his toys and stuff are at.
That sounds scary.
And he's mentioned it a couple of times before, and then like when we were there, like I don't know why they keep pressing him about it, but like they mention him and whatever, and he'll be like, oh well, he doesn't like this or blah blah blah. He'll just say random things about it. So there was one night, it was actually one day, my girlfriend's best friend went up there, and when we first got there, his toy room was a mess, toys everywhere, whatever. So at one point they went upstairs to clean it because obviously they were gonna have guests over for their wedding because they were having it on their property and whatever. So everything was set a very specific way. She took all the toys, put them in a box. There's this chair that he likes to sit in. She put it a very specific way, whatever the case may be. That night we went upstairs, and not only was the chair moved a complete 180 facing the window, which is something that he said he likes to do. There's a very specific chair, and he said this guy likes to sit in this chair and look out the window. So like she had put it the chair facing the door.
Way?
Yeah. So we went upstairs that night, and the chair was facing the complete opposite way, facing out the window, and then two specific toys got pulled out from the thing that she had put them in, and were standing straight up in the middle of the room.
No.
And it happened. It actually happened twice. Even the little kid didn't go upstairs that often. Like, you know what I mean? That was his playroom. A lot of his toys were there, but you never really saw him going up and down the stairs.
Because he didn't want to play with that guy.
Right? Nobody ever really went up there unless they were doing laundry, and nobody really went into that room.
what?
So, like, that was the biggest thing. Unless somebody was just doing it to fuck with us, like, legitimately. And so we all were kind of like, oh shit. She put everything back, and then literally, I think the next night it happened again. Like the same exact toys got pulled out from the thing, sitting up, straight up in the middle of the room. So it's really wild.
You got a good story, David?
You ever seen a ghost before?
Like in my dreams, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
but
the
not in
dream-
real life.
No, not in real life. Yeah.
because there aren't any. Right?
I would love to
Dreams,
go
I would
south,
say
though.
dreams is real life.
Oh.
I would say that. I would
This
say,
is-
Please elaborate.
This
I
is.
would say that. It's the subconscious, so,
It is reality. I mean,
you know.
everything's mental, right?
Absolutely.
Everything's mental. Even moving my hand is mental.
I definitively want to like be in a place and like hear or like capture something that is like that is fucking lit. You know what I mean? Like
Dude, one time-
I want to so bad.
One time we went into the woods by where my house is. There's like this dead end there. And we went in there and we went into this lady's backyard where I always used to go. And the weirdest fucking music started playing. It was like some carnival type shit. And like there were like these red flashes that went through the trees, dude. It was so fucking scary, dude. I can't even explain like exactly
That
how
sounds
it
like some
happened.
alien shit.
I
That's
don't
the
know
shit that
what,
really freaks me
bro.
out is alien stuff, like the grays
Really?
and shit like that. There's a whole
Did they say that they're
documentary
real
thing.
and whatever?
Bro.
I've watched them.
Dude, there's so I
Whenever
watched
I'm
the first
drunk,
episode.
that's what I watch on.
Yeah, when I have Discovery Plus and the very
Oh,
I
did
watched
you
this
now?
one
If
episode
you watched the last
of like
stream, you would know what I mean.
UFO
Yeah.
shit, and it's literally
He likes
this-
that Discovery
this lady,
Channel.
Yes, he
a
does.
lot.
finding other people to talk about their experiences of like being abducted and like all this stuff. And I literally watched this episode, and this lady, she had gotten abducted, and she was pregnant, and then she got abducted and then had a miscarriage.
Wow.
So like she,
Yeah.
but then saying, and it happened,
Jeez.
and it happened multiple times, and then she found this whole forum of people who are feel
Also
like they're
did
getting
that?
abducted and having miscarriages or whatever the case may be, and they think that it's like aliens coming and taking their babies, or like.
But
you know
it's
what I mean?
really just women dealing with their miscarriages. In
I don't know.
A
I mean, you have to watch it because
psychological way, right?
you would have to watch it because the way that they explain it, it's not just like. You have to watch it. It's really fucking weird.
You're saying it
freaked me the
really
fuck out.
happened?
I don't know if it really happened.
Well, what
I'm
do you
not
believe?
them,
What-
but
like
I
how-
don't know, man.
what
I honestly
Like, all the way over
I think
on
we
it?
would
You're
be
like
dumb
70?
to believe that aliens don't exist.
I think we got a little off topic there.
Are we getting high?
This
What, you guys
kava-
can't handle this
kava.
deep of a conversation? What's
I
going
think
on?
we're on the kava. No. Definitely we can.
Okay.
I think we could save it for another episode.
All right.
Because we're talking about relationships here, and we just had Josh and Drake saying this show is not my kind of show. Well, he probably came here for another thing.
Yo, Drake and Josh, your show got canceled. Get the fuck out of here.
Whoa! First off, you cannot.
Woo!
You cannot.
Pow, bitch!
You cannot disrespect Drake and Josh.
Drake and Josh was
Okay,
awesome.
that was like one of the best shows
Especially
Nostalgia.
on Nickelodeon.
growing up.
It was a
Yeah,
good show.
nostalgia. Come on now.
It's
Do
a
we have to get a tier list for the best TV shows?
Yes.
100%.
Drake and Josh will be S tier. K-Dex actually said, you all seem like guys I want to be friends with. I love it.
dude.
Hey.
We want to be friends with you. Like,
That said super hot. Laugh
yo,
out loud.
hit the
Yeah,
follow
I noticed
button.
that.
We do this every Tuesday, so you can come hang out with us whenever. You'll get a little notification.
And
We'll
K-Dex,
hang out.
who do you think is super hot? Leave it in the
Everybody,
comments down
everybody
below.
here is hot. I only hang out with hot people. I'm
I
just
think,
kidding.
I think
We
David,
only hang out
think,
with fine specimens.
I think David. I think David's the most voluptuous one.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think he's very,
Well, I literally
very attractive.
I literally had a chick hit me up on my Snapchat about Austin while we've been on stream.
What?
I said I had a chick hit me up on Snapchat. I showed you.
Oh crap! I was watching the stream.
Yeah, Ali, he's hot. What do you mean? Why wouldn't you want Ali to know that? Some chick said you were hot. That's good.
All right, cool.
That's like need to know information for Ali.
Oh, I am a big David.
What is it?
Yeah.
Did you kill it?
Yeah.
Doesn't look like it.
I thought we were gonna end off with music. That's what we usually do.